A physician shortage does not necessarily mean that there are not enough doctors to go around. Canada is actually graduating more doctors than ever with a steady increase since the 1980s. The shortage lies in the amount of hours our doctors work and the different needs of the physician demographic, male to female. Newer and younger doctors work less hours than their predecessors did when they were their age. Also, the amount of females becoming doctors has increased 39.9%. Predictions. Among the statistics done by the Fraser Institute, a number of doctors in their 50s is much higher than the number of younger doctors. This means that if we look around 10 years into the future, all those doctors will be retiring. This also means that we will be facing a large drop in the number of experienced doctors in Canada. Another prediction made by the Institute is that with the number of female physicians rising, they will all go on maternity leave around the same time. The who of the problem. Everyone who needs healthcare is affected. So, everyone. This problem is directly and especially affecting those who reside in rural areas in Canada, as those areas have the largest shortage. Who stands to gain? Privatized companies and hospitals have a good opportunity to jump in and take in more patients. More people will be willing to pay for healthcare if it promises that they will get it. Who's responsible? Those new, young doctors who are working less hours happen to be the root of the problem. We need to find out where we need more doctors and the amount of hours needed to see patients. From there, we need to meet those needs with the help of the government. Who is left out? Anyone who does not have access to a family or specialty physician are the ones being left out. 6.6% of the Canadian population report not being able to find a family physician. This also leaves out other doctors. If there is a town with a specific shortage of one specialty and another town with too many doctors of that same specialty, then the overflow of doctors can be redirected. Unfortunately, this is not happening, leaving them out. The what of the problem. What is the underlying problem? There are a few underlying problems that go along with this shortage. For example, a huge problem like this comes from improper organization and distribution of physicians. Another underlying problem is that a lot of doctors are graduating and not trying enough specialties. What caused the problem? There is not one certain thing that caused the problem. One thing that contributed to the problem is that doctors aren't working enough hours. Another factor could be that the system just got lax with the hours and policies need to be put in place to help combat this issue. As each generation changes and evolves, a new normal is created. This is quite a contributing factor as well. What are related problems? Oh, pardon me. What can change the problems? New doctors and new policies can help change the amount of hours and shortages of certain doctors as well. For example, a policy for the Ontario doctors can say that in certain areas a certain number of hours needs to be reached before they become certified in that specialty. What are related problems? Related problems can include people not getting proper medical care, people not caring about their health because it may not be easy to get in their area to get medical access. Other problems may be geological. For example, different areas in Ontario, it's a different problem. What kinds of things are happening because of the problem? People are not able to find the right healthcare in rural areas. The when of the problem. When did the situation become a problem? The situation started to become more prominent in the early 2000s, after Canada was experiencing an overflow of physicians. To help even the flow, they put policies in place so that there'd never be too many doctors. When does the problem become more or less noticeable? The problem has never really been super noticeable unless you're one of the 6.6% of Canadians who can't find a family doctor. However, this situation will really take its toll during the busiest times of the year, which are March and August. It should also be noted that different specialties such as neuro, cardio, and pediatrics all have different times that they are at their busiest. When would changes make a difference? Changes could make a difference throughout the whole year, as having more help would mean that they could see more patients all year round. The why of the problem. Why is this happening? This is happening because doctors are not working enough hours to keep up with the doctors who came before them. The hours worked have decreased drastically. Why hasn't something already been done? Nothing has been done before because, well, being a problem, it was never really pushed in the spotlight. Therefore, the government never really felt the need to do anything about it. The where of the problem. Where do problems take place? All around Canada, specifically in the dark red shaded areas. It's a lesser of a problem, but still a problem in the lighter areas. And it is quite the problem. Oh, pardon me. It's not as much of a problem in the lightest amount of countries. Compared to the United States, they have states that are shaded blue, which means that they have a good number of family physicians. per 100,000 people. And as you can see, there's nothing shaded blue in Canada. So, where could something or someone be moved, added, and replaced to change the problem? We can move more doctors, but we should mostly change hours, as that would be the best way to go. The how of the problem. How is this a problem? The physician shortage is a problem because it impacts people's ability to take care of themselves and for their doctor to help take care of them. How does this harm the community or its members? This can harm people by not allowing them to access the care they need. How many people are involved? So far, it has only affected 6.6% of the population that's reported, but it is predicted that it will either get better or worse in the coming years. How much money is involved? As for the amount of money involved, I did research and couldn't find out how much. My educated guess says a lot considering the healthcare system is a huge part of what we need in society. Other points of view. I do believe that there are other points of view that are not commonly heard. However, in the multiple views that I have seen and read about, a lot of them have to do with the same issues and conclusions. Levels of government. The provincial government deals with hospitals and everything to do with their issues. However, the federal government is responsible for setting standards as per the Canada Health Act. Is there a certain person in the government that is responsible? Who is that person and how would you contact him or her? There is not a certain person who would deal with this type of problem. It's more of a group problem. What are 3 to 5 options that could help resolve your issue? What are the steps needed to carry out each option? More doctors would mean an increase in acceptance rate and enrollment rate. Changing hours would mean doctors having to change their hours to work longer. And new policies would mean new policies in place to keep doctors working longer hours. When you consider the various courses of action proposed to address this issue, how would you rank them from easiest to most difficult to carry out? I'd rank them as they are set on the slide. I believe that more doctors would make the biggest change. I think it would because it seems like a more permanent solution. If we change hours, the doctors can just change the back. Also, if we put new policies in place, then we would need someone to enforce them, which is more work. Would you be able to carry out or participate in any of these courses of action? Yes, I can be a part of this change as I already plan on joining the medical field. Plan of action. What is the main goal of your plan? The main goal of my plan is to provide even and accessible healthcare all over Canada. How do you intend on accomplishing that goal? I intend on accomplishing my goal by being an advocate for the field and becoming a doctor. What changes do you anticipate will result from specific strategies in your plan? I only see positive changes coming from this. I believe that it's a completely achievable goal. Which people, organizations, and or governments would most likely to embrace your plan? I believe the provincial government would be more inclined to listen to my plan. They deal with it, and the municipal and federal governments don't really have any responsibility in the issue. How might you engage them? By taking initiative and showing them that people care and try to get them to care more as well. How would you know if your plan were achieving its objectives? There would be more doctors, and the average number of people with no access to medical care would go down. How would you determine if your plan was making a positive difference? The percentage of people able to find healthcare would increase. How might you respond if things didn't go as planned? I believe that I would be majorly disappointed, but I would persevere as it's a serious topic that I'm quite passionate about. So, thank you for listening. That is the end of my slideshow. And just a reminder that my works cited is in the bottom of my action issue script that I will attach to Google Classroom as well. Thank you. Have a great